Hello and welcome to my podcast concerning the myths, cliches and stereotypes of fans and athletes in the media. Throughout sport, whether we like it or not, there has always been myths, cliches and stereotypes concerning athletes, often being a barrier to participating because of this discrimination. Linking towards my first podcast, these stereotypes are still in place, especially in basketball. With the general stereotype that if the player is white, he probably can't rebound, which is emphasised in the film White Guys Can't Jump. This emphasises and defines how the media perceives these athletes. This is because black athletes are represented as being more physically dominant, but white athletes are normally praised for their hard work, intellectual skills and leadership, especially when looking at players' draft combine assessments from ESPN, analysing college athletes. Representation can be defined as a reflection of the real world. This sense of stereotyping works by essentializing, reducing and naturalizing a very few traits of very few individuals. For example, a white player can only shoot, and compared to black players where the stereotype is very much reversed. Despite these stereotypes, there have been a few notable exceptions to overcome racial stereotypes within sport, one of these being the success of Tiger Woods. In this case, some golf fans believe that just by him competing in major tournaments, that he is an example of racial equality despite being superior to his competitors. One of the reasons for this is because there is a stereotype that sport is normally associated with the direction and purpose that socializes, civilizes black youth into responsible citizens. This quote, regardless of the truth behind it, prevents the black athletes from competing in sport. To add to this, despite the NBA currently being 70% African American, Michael Jordan is the only black majority NBA owner, with most of these owners consisting of white males. To add to the lack of women as team owners, there is a clear difference in gender pay gap within the NBA and the WNBA, with WNBA players making an average salary of just under $70,000 for the 2011 season, compared to NBA athletes making an average of just over $5 million US per year. By contrast, the maximum contract available for any WNBA player is $103,000, whereas the minimum salary that any NBA player is $885,000, which is a rookie contract. This outlines that despite both male and female basketball players doing the same job and the same amount of work, with both being the best players in the world, they aren't even being paid anywhere near the same amount as each other for the same job. One of the reasons to defend this is that the WNBA makes only a total revenue of $11 million compared to the NBA, which makes $8.03 billion, which could be due to the fan interest, sponsorship deals and TV deals. On the other hand, the NBA delegates 50% of its total revenue directly to the players, distributed via salary cap, compared to the WNBA, where it's only 20.4% of the total revenue generated goes towards the players directly, leaving WNBA players to feel like they should be paid more from the league. To add to this debate, another reason why the NBA could be more marketable is because of the modern culture where we assign a W in front of women's events, whereas for men's events it is expected to not specify the gender. An example of where the use of a gender assigned event has been removed is Wimbledon, where both the prize funds is the same for men and women, each distributing a prize fund of £2.35 million. Interestingly, the prize fund is the same for Wimbledon, where men play best of 5 sets and women only play best of 3, which is a point that Novak Djokovic and Andy Murray have argued with, stating men and women shouldn't get paid the same amount of money for Wimbledon for this reason, which female tennis players such as Serena Williams and Johanna Konta have strongly defended fellow women's tennis players. To conclude this podcast, thank you for listening to my views and findings with how athletes are perceived in sport based on their race and gender. I hope you enjoyed it.